everyone. I'm Kristen Cho.
And I'm Cameron Word.
Hi, welcome.
Hello, hello.
I just want to tell everybody that I made a late announcement, but if I still have a few books I can give away,
Yes.
Please check with me. Visit me on my Instagram page at The Kristen Cho. Send me a DM and I'll put you on the list. If I have a book, I'll send it for the next month. If not, I'll wait list you for the month after.
Gosh, that's such a good deal.
I know, you get a free book.
Oh.
And I just want everyone to know that it is a one-time deal.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you already got a book, please.
Yeah.
That's it.
Goodness. Well, I hope maybe, if it were me, I would want to get like a special, like maybe December.
Yeah.
Like around Christmas.
Sure. Or January.
Or January.
Yeah.
Start the new year.
Or maybe like the month of your birth. You know, your birthday month.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be good. When is what's your birth month?
It was August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
It was this month. It's past.
Yeah, I'm jealous,
Why?
My birthday is November 30th.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to have a pool party. But November is too cold,
It's too cold.
to have a pool party. But my sister was in June.
Oh.
So every year, my sister got a pool party, and I got a bowling party.
That's not fair.
That's not fair.
Oh.
And in Arkansas, we don't have inside
Oh,
pools.
my goodness. Every time I think about my birthday, I think of my mom. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this hot weather and you're like 9 months pregnant or 10 months pregnant.
That's true.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, my goodness,
Anyway, we are talking about black mold.
Yes.
And this is our last dialogue. And the subtitle is, This Will All Be Over Soon. There is an end.
Oh, that's true. Oh, this is a funny phrase. You'll hear this in like movies sometimes.
This will all be over soon.
This will all be over soon.
Yeah.
It could mean either the suffering will end,
You will die soon.
you will die soon,
Yes.
or it could just be the problem will be over soon.
That's right.
The problem will resolve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here are some expressions that we're going to cover. Come into contact with someone or something.
This is talking about when you've touched or contacted or encountered something. We often use it for things that are not good. So coming in contact with bacteria.
Yeah.
You've touched it somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. For the most part.
Generally, mostly,
Okay.
typically speaking.
All right. Be associated with something.
So there's a relationship or a link between two things.
Okay, very good. So let's see how these expressions are used in our dialogue.
Uncle Rick finally finished removing the mold from my apartment.
Did he come into contact with any dangerous black mold?
No, he wore protective gear. He also suggested I go to a doctor who specializes in mold exposure.
For the most part, you seem like you're not experiencing any bad reactions to the mold.
I'm hopeful that the doctor won't find anything because long-term exposure is associated with chronic lung diseases.
This will all be over with soon. Until then, you are staying with me.
Okay, let's take a look. Ian says, Uncle Rick finally finished removing the mold from my apartment. Yay! Thank you, Uncle Rick.
No more deadly mold.
Yeah. Melinda says, did he come into contact with any dangerous black mold? When I see this expression, come into contact with, it sounds very serious.
It does.
Like, come into contact with chemicals or dangerous, chemicals.
Yeah, it's almost always a bad thing. So it would be like chemicals, bacteria, mold.
Yeah.
If you're going to use with a person, you might say, I came into contact with a spy.
Oh.
Right? Or I came into contact with a criminal, a murderer.
An alien.
Yeah. Or I came into contact with a hungry bear.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would never say, I came into contact with a doctor.
ED.
Yeah. Like, it would never be used, usually, for things that would be beneficial or helpful to you.
Right.
It's usually things you want to stay away from.
Right.
That you accidentally encounter.
That's it. That's right. So here, if you come into contact with dangerous mold, that makes sense. Okay, what does Ian say?
No, he wore protective gear. He also suggested I go to a doctor who specializes in mold exposure.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you are exposed to black mold, it's toxic.
Yeah.
So it's very dangerous. So he wears protective gear, like mask, all that, gloves, maybe
Goggles.
hazmat goggles. Yeah. And he said, how about going to a doctor who specializes in mold exposure? What is the word exposure? That's our power vocab.
So exposure means that you have received, you have been either, you've encountered, you've met it, and it is some way probably going to affect you.
Yeah.
So this could be something very serious, like mold exposure.
Radiation
Exposure. Could be something a little less severe, like sun exposure.
Okay, yes.
Right, which can still be dangerous, but it's a little bit. You could also say exposure to things like cultures.
Yeah.
Oh, I've gotten exposure to many cultures growing up.
Yes, right.
So exposure isn't always a bad thing. It's just something that maybe as you're being influenced by, you're being showered with.
Yeah.
It can be an actual physical exposure.
Yeah.
Or something more of like an experience.
Right. Very good.
Musical exposure.
Musical. Like you can have musical exposure when you were a young boy or a young girl as a child.
Right, yeah, like my parents exposed me to classical music.
Right.
That's why I play the French horn.
That's right, yeah.
That sort of thing.
We do use that word expose in that context very often. Okay, Melinda says, for the most part, you seem like you're not experiencing any bad reactions to the mold. So, Melinda says, for the most part. And what is this for the most part?
Generally.
Generally?
Yeah. 대부분.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're looking at the whole thing. And you're giving kind of the overall view of something.
Right.
There may be something that's different, but for the most part. Overall.
Overall.
Generally speaking.
Okay. And she's saying, generally speaking, for the most part, you seem like you're not experiencing any reaction. So, like, it seems like you're okay.
Right. Right.
You seem like your is our power pattern.
Yes. This is like saying you look like, but seem does feel like that might not be the case. But from what I can see, it's like this.
All right. You seem like you're upset.
Yeah.
We
Maybe
can
you're
say-
not, but you kind of look like it. You seem like.
Right. What does Ian say?
I'm hopeful that the doctor won't find anything because long-term exposure is associated with chronic lung diseases.
Okay. Immediate exposure or short time sort of exposure maybe is okay, but long-term exposure means that you've been exposed for a long time.
Yes.
Like a couple of years. Okay, maybe decades. It's associated with something. In this case, disease.
Right. So there is a link. There's kind of a relation. So it's not one for one, as we might say. It's not 100% directly.
Yeah.
But there is kind of a relationship.
Sure.
Some people are exposed to black mold for a long time and don't get it, but many people do.
Yes.
Right? There's a strong relationship. There is an association with it.
Right. And Melinda says this will all be over with soon. Until then, you are staying with me. So Melinda is encouraging, supporting Ian and saying, oh, what a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's going to be over
Yes.
soon.
Right. This is all used whenever something bad, something that is not good, something that you hate experiencing is finally coming to an end.
Yes, that's
so
right.
you would not just say this will all be over with soon for something that you usually don't use with something happy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Your wedding. This will all be over with soon.
Yeah, we don't want it to be over.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, you want it to continue.
All right. Let's go ahead and listen to that one more time.
Uncle Rick finally finished removing the mold from my apartment.
Did he come into contact with any dangerous black mold?
No, he wore protective gear. He also suggested I go to a doctor who specializes in mold exposure.
For the most part, you seem like you're not experiencing any bad reactions to the mold.
I'm hopeful that the doctor won't find anything because long-term exposure is associated with chronic lung diseases.
This will all be over with soon. Until then, you are staying with me.
It is time for Power Note. Please join us on pages 148 and 49. We're going to give you some example sentences of the expressions we just talked about. If you come into contact with someone or something, it means that you either touched it or like you were face to face with it.
Yeah. You met it.
You met it. Did you come into contact with any strange people today?
Only the man at the airport telling me about his boat tours.
Right. So as you can see, it's very specific.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like serious. Almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
In this case, because we're saying strange people,
right.
It's kind of one of those things
dangerous.
like, you want to avoid.
Right,
it's
right.
dangerous, so you want to stay away.
The explorers came into contact with a tribe who lived away from modern city. See, again.
Modern society.
Oh, modern society. Again, these are not typical people.
Right, yes. And so this is a kind of an example where it's not necessarily negative, but there is a sense of maybe danger, being careful.
Right.
Right? Because, you know, it's, you know, see those movies of like the explorer, they find the tribe, and then, you know, someone attacks another person.
Right.
You know, there was a misunderstanding or whatever. It's whenever you're meeting a person, and it's kind of, you got to be careful.
Right.
You're a little worried that something's going to happen.
Right. So you would not say come into contact with my neighbors or people that you know that are very familiar to you, even though you may not know them.
Right. Yeah. Right. It's like a discovery of a very specific person.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's how we would describe that when it comes to people.
Yes.
But with things, like we said, viruses, bacteria, mold.
Yeah.
Kind of those dangerous elements.
It's true. Gotta be careful.
Yeah.
So many things nowadays you gotta come into contact with.
Well, we come into contact with all kinds of materials on a daily basis.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Chemicals.
and the funny thing is like, yes, the chemicals are bad, but even if you go out into the woods, sometimes you can come into contact with some weird things in the woods,
well,
too.
yeah, poisonous things.
Yeah, like mushrooms.
Yeah,
and things
poison
like that.
ivy.
Yeah.
Okay. For the most part means generally, typically. Who are your usual customers?
For the most part, we get businessmen and wealthy families at our hotel.
Okay.
Sometimes not.
Sometimes, but generally meaning most of the time.
Usually.
Okay. For the most part, I work out 3 times a week early in the morning.
Sometimes I don't.
Sometimes, no.
Sometimes I only go 2 times a week. Or sometimes I go late at night. Yeah. But for the most part.
For the most part. Okay. Let's give a few more examples using for the most part.
So if you wanted to talk about, even like food. For the most part, I love Korean food.
Yeah.
Or for the most part, I love Thai food. For the most part, I love American food.
Yeah.
But there's maybe 1 or 2 things I won't eat. For example, for the most part, I love Korean food. I don't like hongo.
Yeah.
I'm not a hongo person.
Yeah.
Also, gatgimchi. For the most part, I love kimchi.
But you can't.
But gatgimchi is one of those it has that smell. It has that extra something, and it's just not my...
Oh my goodness, I love gatgimchi. That sort of bitterness.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Or for the most part, I love fruits, like different types of fruit.
Yeah.
But I don't like watermelon.
Yes,
I
right.
don't like melon.
You don't like melon.
I don't like melons of any type.
Yeah. If someone asks me, Kristen, do you cook every day? What do you make for dinner? I would say, for the most part, Korean food.
Sometimes you make Italian. Sometimes you make Mexican. But most days, you're making Korean.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they always, it's good on the stomach. Okay, be associated with something.
This means there is a link, there's a connection, or there is a strong relationship with.
Okay. What do you associate a sunny day with?
It makes me think of happiness in my childhood.
A sunny day.
A sunny day. I think of skin damage and the UV rays.
UV rays. Oh dear. How about what do you associate on a rainy day?
I think of it's good for the garden.
Good for the garden. Okay.
It cleans the streets.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you associate a rainy day with?
A rainy day?
I associate a rainy day with wet socks. You just have, this is maybe in psychology the type of question you would get.
Yeah.
Like you look at a picture and they're like, what do you associate with this picture?
Right.
And they're trying to analyze how you think about things.
Right. I must say that we get really clear, I don't want to say clear, but on a really sunny day, and there's a certain sky, color and sunlight, and I do associate that with LA.
Oh, yeah.
Not all the time.
A certain type of weather that makes you think of
LA.
Your hometown.
Yeah, it's like LA weather.
That's true. Yeah.
Smoking is associated with a higher risk of cancer.
Yes. Smoking is bad for your health.
Yeah.
We know this.
Sure.
But some people don't always get cancer from it.
That's true.
The risk is higher. So it's not a direct, 100% direct. It's not, if you smoke, you will get cancer.
Right.
But it is associated with it.
That's right.
It's a higher possibility.
That's it. That's right.
Yeah. It's a strong relationship, not a complete relationship.
Oh, very good. I like that differentiation. Okay. You seem like is our power pattern.
Yeah.
Okay. You seem like you're calm under pressure.
That's how you look. But maybe it's not really the
It's
case.
not true, right?
That's what this seem like is talking about. You seem like you're in really great shape. A lot of those fitness models, they seem like they're in good shape.
They can't bend their backs.
Yeah, they can't bend down.
Yeah, there's no flexibility.
Or their heart health is awful.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Exposure is our power vocab on page 150. So do check that out on your own. And let's wrap it up.
All right, yeah.
What do we have to do?
You got to go to Audio Hakdan.
Absolutely. And why?
You have to listen to our voices.
Yes, that's right.
On 4 different shows.
That's right.
Yeah.
And for a very small fee.
Tiny.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for studying with us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.